Today I will be discussing songs from Quiet Isle. Today I'm going to try to block the sun with my head. Quiet Isle was started in 1998. Well, first of all, I should say, Quiet Isle started out as like Gabe, Sherry, and myself jamming. And he's the one who taught me how to play my first drum beat. Just a simple boots, cheats, boot, that sort of thing. You know, eventually we had some cool jams that we came up with, and I borrowed a 4-track from the school and started recording my own songs and adding lyrics to them and stuff. And I was just hooked, you know. The more I did it, the more I wanted to do it. I had so much fun writing music, and I think one of the songs our first songs that we wrote was called Monkey Diesel. And it was like this heavy drop D tuning, and it didn't make it onto the album, but it was a pretty cool song. It was like, so eventually we had all these songs together, and my mom knew of a recording studio that maybe I could go to, and she did some stained glass for Scott Zylstra in exchange for some hours in the studio, and that's how it started. Quiet Isle is still the most expensive studio project that I've ever done. I spent 28 hours in the studio on it, because when I went in there, it's like I knew exactly what I wanted to play. It was more like rehearsal for me than trying to create something new, you know. And so Quiet Isle was an interesting album, partly because it's just different from everything else I've done. There's different influences you can hear for the Quiet Isle album. It's got its own sort of sound to it, for sure. And when I went to the studio for that, I had a really nice guitar. I had I think it was an SG-100 Guild. So that's partly what gives the album the sound it got, is that guitar. And so now I'm going to quickly go through the songs and just talk about the songs. The first song on there is called Something For You. It started off with all these weird sounds from a Rap Master, from this cheap little Casio keyboard, and it all fades into us jamming out, and there's some cool like little guitar licks in there, and I like the song Something For You. There's no chorus to it. It's just us rocking out, and some of my music's a little dark. But one thing that's consistent in all my music, regardless of the style I'm writing, is that I try to be as honest as possible and speak the truth. Even if it's not my truth, it could be somebody else's truth that I'm trying to portray, to give somebody else a voice who doesn't have a voice, that sort of thing. First song, I put it as the second song on the album, just kind of as a joke, because it's called First Song. And the reason it's called First Song is because it's kind of like the first song I've written. I mean, it was like the first song I wrote where I try to have it be more than just kind of a joke or humorous or something. Like I was actually trying to write a song, not just a mess around sort of song, which is mostly what I'd done up to that point. I feel like those are some pretty heavy topics for that age. Best Part of Life. Pretty happy with the way the guitar turned out on that one. Yeah, I think overall that song turned out pretty good. There's not a whole lot I guess I could say about it other than I just like, out of the songs on the album, I still think it's one of the ones that I think it's kind of cool. I like the way the guitars, the guitar playing and stuff sounds. This is why I'm a musician, not a TV person. Going to the party. The lyrics for that song, my dad and my stepmom wrote, and it's funny because when I played the song for them after I wrote it, they were like, "Oh, this isn't what we were expecting. We kind of thought it would be more like an upbeat, like rock and roll song or something." It's kind of funny. Come on, phone. All right. We Are the Same is the next song. We Are the Same. I wrote that about a friend of mine. I don't know. I like that song because it starts off with a long, like I'm taking my pick and grinding it down the strings, and then I slide up the strings. Man with No Face. One of the first songs that I had written for this album. It's one of the first jams that Gabe and I came up with too. That used to be just the guitar and drums and us down in his dad's basement rocking it out. So I wrote that song kind of like as, it's not like you don't have a face, but it's like people don't notice you, so it's almost like you don't exist. So you might as well not have a face because it's like you don't have any identity. It's that sort of thing. People treat you like you're a freak or something. So that's what that song was meant to be like about. Run away. Run away is like that feeling of just wanting to get away from it all and start a new life somewhere, create a new existence that's happier and better. That's what that song is about. And I really like how the wah pedal, how I use the wah pedal on the guitar part throughout the song. I thought that had a cool effect to it. Man, this wind is, actually I think on the original album there was a part that some like little thing that I wrote that I put on here. It's not on the online album because I decided to take it off, but it wasn't even a song, it was just me talking about a bunch of nonsense, and it was kind of funny. But so if you have the original album, then you'll have that on there. But, Black Guts, I wanted a song where I was using distortion on my vocals because I liked the way that sounded. And this album for me, it was more important to me the way I was singing and how it sounded than the actual words I was saying, I think. Sometimes I'm just saying complete gibberish in some of these songs. Rusty Sheath. Rusty Sheath, like I said, it's one, or it's one of those songs on here where the lyrics are a little out there, and that's 100% intentional. I wanted some lyrics that were different, Smell that smell. Obviously there's a song out there that's ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell? That's not what this song is. This is a different song. It sounds very much like it was influenced by Pink Floyd. Because it probably was. It was probably my inspiration for the song. Was guitar solo. I had it down so well at the time that I did 2 takes of it, and I kept both takes and I played them together at the same time. And you can hear that I basically played them the same. And yeah, so that's the guitar solo at the end. Falling. Falling is yeah, it is what the title says it is. It's a song about feeling like you're falling or you fell down and you need to pick yourself back up, that sort of thing. Man, it's getting bright out. I wonder what this is gonna look like. Live only to die. Kind of a messed up song title. But yeah, I guess sometimes it feels like we're only living to die. And we're just going through the motions or something, and not really living. So that's kind of what that song is about. It's about greed and gluttony and stuff like that. Alright, almost done here. Smoke inspires me. It's a song I wrote about, you know, my appreciation for every time I'd have a puff of it kind of put me in touch with this creative part of myself, and this inspiration would start to flow, and it would allow me to kind of tap into some creativity. So pretty self-explanatory there. There's some lyrics in that song that are a little strange because I wrote them in English class, and we're supposed to use like words that no one ever uses, and they're trying to teach us new words. Anyway, and it was 1999 when I finished the album. The album cover art came from somebody I knew in high school named Travis Roach. On the inside of the album, there's like something that he drew too. And the name Quiet Aisle, I came up with that because I thought it was interesting, because it's like the eerie feeling when you're walking down like an aisle in a grocery store and there's like nobody in that aisle, and you're kind of like by yourself, and I don't know, I just pictured that feeling and that, I don't know, that setting, and I thought it was interesting, so that's why that's the only reason for that name. Heart's Desire starts off with a sample of my friend's mom talking about cemeteries. And I don't even think she knew that I recorded her, but Jesus. I wrote Heart's Desire and recorded it. It's a pretty different sounding sort of song. And then Immorality. I still like that song. It's one of the songs off this album that I think is kind of cool. It's pretty kind of simple and stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention on the first song, my music teacher, Pat Nemestow, basically wrote the bass line for that song. Because I was like, I don't know what I should do with the bass for this. What do you think? And I actually recorded that song, a rough version of that song, at his house. So that was kind of cool. He helped me record one of the first recordings of that song. Alright, back to Immorality. The reason I thought of that is because he also gave me some input on how to play the bass for this song. So he kind of helped me come up with a bass line for this song too. And Sailing. Sailing's the last song on here. Quite a different sounding type of song. And I was just, I don't know, just trying to do something different. Just came up with an interesting sounding riff, and it almost didn't even make it on the album because Gabe hadn't ever played it with me before, and I don't think he felt like too confident wanting to record a song that he hadn't ever played before. I think the first time he ever played that song with me was when we did it in the studio. Anyway, well, that's Quiet Aisle, and so hopefully I think that might conclude, well, if that at least concludes this one. So and I'm in a good mood. Alright, thanks for watching. Quiet Isle is the first song, or the first out.